Alright guys, so almost home from my week away hunting down at the hunting camp down there in lower, slower Delaware. It wasn't really a good week. The heat really, it was hot. It was 70, 80 degrees every day. The deer weren't moving, you know, it wasn't that nice crisp autumn air that, you know, usually is real good for hunting and all that. So wasn't much to see. Spent a lot of time in the stand and really didn't even get to see much walking by. Seen a couple of doe, a couple of spikes. Really for deer, that's about all I saw, and I was lucky. There's a couple guys who didn't see anything, and for having 10 or 12 guys in the woods and not seeing any deer, yeah, they're just not moving. That and where we hunt down there, it's a lot of marsh area. It actually backs up to the bay. So the mosquitoes were, whew, yeah, they were terrible. I look like an addict right now. I'm all tore up from, you couldn't go outside to take a piss without getting bit a couple of times. Bug spray or not, it didn't matter. So if you're a hunter and you hunt in an area where there's a lot of mosquitoes, the best thing you could ever get is this thing called a thermocell. Basically a little butane bottle, and you put these strips in there and it heats up a plate, and this aroma is given off, and that'll keep the bugs away from you while you're sitting still in your stand. If you're moving around and got some wind and all that, it's not going to work. But if it's a still morning or evening and the mosquitoes are getting you, just turn that thing on and no more skeeters. But yeah, I think I need a transfusion after them. I mean, they were just terrible. And guys who have hunted down there for 30 or 40 years said they've never seen it that bad. I mean, that, and for whatever reason, they love machines. I don't know if it's the exhaust, if it's the heat or what, but I'd get off the four-wheeler and I'd just shut it off and bail, because you could look back at it and it would just be a swarm of mosquitoes around it. So that was, yeah, that didn't make things any better. But and that's the other thing, not many squirrels. You know, the one morning I had some squirrels and some woodpeckers, but other than that, it was pretty quiet. So it really, yeah, it wasn't really that great a week. I mean, when you got back to the cabin and, you know, playing some cards and bullshitting around with the guys, that's always a good time. So it was a fun trip nonetheless. Unfortunately, we didn't get any shooting at all. Nobody in, you know, of the 10 or 12 of us, nobody shot a single time. So hopefully November season will be in the rut. We'll get some good action out there in the woods, and maybe we can bring home a big guy. But so really, this is just going to be a little update video. I think I'm going to get home, unpack the truck, you know, get washing clothes and put the four-wheeler away, all that. I'm not going to feel like doing anything with the trucks. But what we do have upcoming, we got to get shocks for the white truck. I did talk to John at Muldoon's, and yesterday I think I left the camp and went out and made a phone call, because once again, no service down there. That's beautiful. No, you know, the phone blows up when you leave. You know, you have 300 emails and 70 texts and all that shit. But anyhow, I'm off on a tangent. He said that the planetary gears for our roller bearing or needle bearing setup to get rid of the thrust washers are at the machine shop now. Also, he said they didn't really find anything broken in the transmission itself, which kind of what I expected. The torque converter's back from Phil down at DPC, and we did loosen the stall up a little bit. I think he said like 150 RPM, if I remember correctly, so that should put us like around a 2,000 RPM stall. What else? Yeah, he said they really didn't find anything bad. One thing that was a plus, I have a billet direct drum in that transmission. I believe it is a Suncoast part, if I am correct. But normally those come and they still use the factory retainer. Well, we're going to upgrade that to a billet piece. Well, we already had one in there, so we're good to go there, and hopefully we'll have the transmission back in a week or so, 2 maybe. But you know, with how this heat's been, we might have plenty of time to go racing and stuff like that. I mean, I know there's not that many events and all left, but whatever, it is what it is. So that's where the truck stands, you know, transmission wise. Suspension wise, we need to order shocks for all 4 corners, because we are going to be dropping the rear of the truck down maybe tomorrow. The part for that should have been here while I was away. It should have arrived, so hopefully we can do that, take some measurements, call up and double check. Big shout out to Battleship 67 on the Instagram. He hit me up with some part numbers for some shocks, pretty much the 2 brands that I was already thinking about using. But we're just going to take measurements, and I'll probably call the manufacturer and just double, triple verify before we order anything that that's going to be what we want to go with. And as far as that goes, that should be the end of the suspension work for now. Our exhaust mod is in full swing and hopefully should be completed by the time we get our transmission back, though I don't know that I will reveal it to you until after we get it back, just because, well, we can't show anything with the exhaust with the transmission out. But that's coming along nicely. It's actually turning out a little better than I had even kind of thought it would. What else is there? This truck, we have a manifold leak. Some of the exhaust manifold gaskets are leaking. I noticed that a while back, but it's certainly getting worse. I tightened up on them and the bolts, because some of them had come loose, so we have to replace those gaskets on this truck. We also have to finish the intake piping, or not the intake, I guess the hot side piping to the intercooler from our turbocharger, figure out our oil feed line to the turbocharger. Yeah, bunch of little shit, nothing major. We got our switches inside for our fans set up. I would also like to get another aux cooler to install on the truck, and another temperature gauge so we can put a temperature sensor in the hot side coming out of the torque converter, so we know, right then, after we stage, after we make a run, what's coming out of the transmission, so we keep that nice and cool. Right now we just have a pan sensor, which really just gives you a general average, but like when I burnt that torque converter up, wasn't thinking, it was my fault, but we were making a lot of heat, and you couldn't see that because it takes a while for the pan temperature to resemble that. And if you looked at our pan temperature, nothing was wrong. So that's kind of where the truck stands right now. There's some stuff I need to look into for the winter. I still haven't decided. I would like to pull the motor out. It definitely should have rods put in it at the very minimal. But, it's one of those, I'm always going to want more. We know that. But how extreme do you go? And by how extreme do you go, how much money do you want to spend is what it comes down to. And writing a check for one of them creme de la creme motors, if you will, would not be an easy task. You could spend some money, buddy. Woo! So, anyhow, that's where the truck stands and all that. Unfortunately, no big bucks or anything to show you for hunting, but won't be hunting at the house until November season rolls around down there in Delaware. And that's about it. I do have some video that I forgot I had of a truck pool event that I stopped by the house. And it's big rigs pulling, which if you like watching pickup truck pulls and you haven't seen a big rig pull, go see one of them, especially if they got the modifieds, like the baddest ones that they have, because those guys, it's awesome. They'll do wheelies, and they say it's the hardest thing to stop. That is the hardest thing for the sled to stop, is those big trucks. I mean, they get up there, they twist the frame, throwing smoke. Some of them have fireworks that go off when they go down. There used to be a guy back in the day, J.R. Collins. He'd always put on a nice little show with having flames coming out of the stacks and all that. So I'll put some of that footage in here so you guys have a little action. But other than that, I'm gonna get home, unload the truck and the four-wheeler, and relax. I need a little vacation from the vacation before I go back to work. So hope you guys enjoyed. I know it's just really a little update and all that, but we'll be getting back to working on the truck here momentarily. So you guys have a nice day. Get out in your garage, get to working on your truck.